So guys, Twitter and the media are up in arms because Jim Davidson decided to call out a few things related to Britain's Got Talent in a recent video. Now the complaints relating to that show have hit 22,000 when I last checked. It might be a bit higher by now. Either way, the show was not enjoyed by a lot of people and the reaction by those involved has turned more people against them because they must be stupid. Everyone and their mother has covered this recently in videos, including Alicia Dixon saying we can kiss her black ass because she is so full of class. I'm sorry to say, lefty spunk trumpets are 1,000 times below an aid-riddled prostitute in my eyes, so keep your pants on and jog on your mug. But enough of that trout, let's get back to Jim Davidson himself. Naturally, the rabid left are acting like he is public enemy number one, despite him actually saying nothing that is really that spicy. It's more pointing out the hypocrisy of ITV and diversity themselves, in my opinion. Of course, Jim has done some questionable things in his time, but this is not one of them. Mounting out of a molehill type shit once more, because the way I see it is as I said on Twitter earlier. If it's okay for diversity to use racial stereotypes relating to white cops, then why is it not okay for someone to suggest they do opposing stereotypes in their dances? You would have to be a bit of a brain-dead idiot to think that Jim Davidson is actually being serious there. He is literally tongue-in-cheek taking the piss out of diversity and ITV. Now obviously there is absolutely nothing racist about what he said, and even more so if diversity doing their anti-cop dance is not racist in itself. You also have to factor in that if Jim Davidson's a racist, he would have to be the first racist in history that's ever said he wanted to have sex with a black woman, because that is what he says in the video when he's talking about Alicia Kiss My Black Ass Dixon. He actually said he would be more than willing to have a go on her, which I'm sure you would agree screams white supremacist to everyone. Now, I was going to add a couple of clips from Jim's video, but it is better if you watch the whole thing yourself and make your own mind up on it, so I will link it down below. But we will quickly go over what he actually said and I'll give my thoughts on it and see if it is, like the rabid left of claiming, racist. Spoiler alert, it's really not. It headlines Race Rant. Jim Davidson rants diversity should do mugging dance and they don't give a fuck about George Floyd after BLM storm. Which obviously none of them do. All of these media tosspots are just there virtue signalling because it's the woke thing to do. And I do have a problem with the Sun's headline there. It was not a race rant at all. Once again, piss poor framing by the media. I'm not going to go over the viewers were left furious. You can go and check out Twitter to see the screaming idiots on there if you really want to. In a post titled "Who Needs Diversity?" Davidson ranted, "Diversity, what the fuck do you want? You just want to be famous all around the world. You don't give a fuck about George Floyd." He went on, "You don't see white couples on adverts anymore, do you? Most TV presenters are non-white." Now I do have to disagree with that because there are still plenty of white people on the TV, reality says as much. But there has been a concerted effort by many media organisations to push more black and Asian minorities to the front, not because they are the best, simply because it's the woke thing to do, which as I've said many times is the definition of racism in my opinion. What do you think? These people are not good enough to make their own way to the top as it is because of their skin colour? That is a disgusting way to be. But we all know that is the mantra of the media at this point. You know that film, The Golden Girls, with all them old birds? That's being made by black people, which is essentially exactly what we have been seeing over the past few years in relation to women. Women are no longer important, they have something else they can use as a tool to push their woke agendas. Davidson then appeared to be referencing an attack on a white woman when he said, "There's loads of white people sticking up for you, sticking up for Black Lives Matter. Young white girls walking around with banners." Well, I say most young girls. Gemma's sister is not holding up a banner as she was violently mugged by 3 black men. Perhaps diversity can do a mugging thing, which obviously is not racist in any sense of the word. He's talking about one example, an anecdotal one at that, and taking the piss out of the stereotypical opinion that all black people run around mugging people, which is obviously not correct. He has merely said it simply because diversity are using the stereotypical bullshit that white cops run around killing black men when clearly they don't. Now he also goes on to talk about some of the Asian community who have not been listening to the coronavirus laws, which has obviously got a few people screaming that that is also racist, which actually it's not. We have evidence here from Birmingham Live during the lockdown that says police called as up to 100 mourners defy city 6-person funeral limit in coronavirus lockdown. This event here was also attended by Labour's Birmingham MP Tahir Ali, who had actually attended 2 on the same day, breaking coronavirus laws. And then we also have a report on the 19th of July from the BBC themselves saying Blackburn Mosque faces police investigation over 150 at funeral. So Jim Davidson was only pointing out what has been reported in the media. That does not make him a racist in any sense of the word. Nothing he said did. But I have got to say, I really do love how everyone on Twitter completely ignores most of what he says and just jumps on the first bit they can to call him a racist. Like I said, has anyone ever met a racist who apparently hates black people but yet wants to fuck Alicia Dixon? Maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments. Now personally, I literally just think Jim Davidson's tried to be a little bit spicy here. He knew saying that would get Twitter up in arms and he really didn't care, because he knows at the end of the day, nothing he said is racist. And naturally, Twitter is just full of a bunch of snowflakes and race baiting tosspots that always want to jump on the bandwagon, much like diversity and the media in general. You know, everyone seems to be forgetting that this all started because people had a problem with the little dance routine that diversity did. Not because of anything to do with black people, but simply because it was political statements on a family TV show. The issue with the diversity routine has got fuck all to do with race, it's simply to do with it being in the wrong place at the wrong time, the same as sports and everything else. Politics gets plenty of airtime, it's constantly on the news every single day. 24-hour news channels pump this shit out all the time. People who want to wind down and watch a bit of TV don't want this shit pumped in their face the same way they wouldn't want any other right or left-wing politics thrown in their face when they're trying to relax. How is this too hard for people to believe?
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.